Ghost in a Hotel. This is my second story on this website. This happened when me and my family went to tour to Sikkim. Usually, every year my family decides to organize a trip with my relatives. We all were around 20 members. So, we decided to go on a trip to Sikkim on April 22, 2019. In this story there are two experiences which I faced during our trip. First experience. We reached Gangtok on April 22. As we reached at evening time, we all decided to do some shopping and later go on with our dinner. After our dinner, children were given 3 rooms and the elders were given 4 rooms. In our room, me, my elder sister and one of my cousin were there. Everything was okay when we slept. At around 2 a.m., it started raining heavily and there was a power cut. Everything was pitch dark, so I got up hearing the sounds of thunder. I forgot to mention there was big glass door on our left side. At the time of lightning I saw a girl shadow on our glass window. It appeared 2 to 3 times. I got really freaked out, but I didn't wake anybody. I thought it was my imagination. Second experience. After that incident I didn't experience anything until 2 days later. We had decided to wake up at 4 a.m. to go. The 4 rooms of parents are in 3rd floor and our 3 rooms are in 2nd floor. And mine and my sister's suitcases were in my parents' room. So, I got up at 4 a.m. and went to the 3rd floor. My parents were in room number 305, so I went and knocked on the door. Suddenly, I started hearing whispers near my ear. And they started increasing and I freaked out and started banging the door and there was no response. I started shouting, but there was no response. But the whispers were growing by each passing second, so I ran to our room and I called my parents. They told me that they were already awake and waiting for me. I told them that I knocked their door and I even banged it. They told me that they didn't hear any knock on the door. Till today I don't understand what it was. Who's she? I heard this when I was in class 5. We were staying in Baramunda, Orissa, India. Then the place was not developed properly and surrounded by green open fields. Nearby villagers used that area for cremation purpose and dumping garbages. It was 1995. There was a tradition of picking flowers too early in the morning for worshipping of God. In case you were late, then you might end up with a little or no flour for your daily ritual. My uncle was the one who's into that competition. One day around 4 a.m. in the morning he woke up, as we all knew nights were long during winters. It was a chilly, windy night. Nobody was seen outside. Howling of dogs were making it difficult for him to move further. Somehow, he managed and started plucking flowers nearby. But the kind of flowers he was looking for is not there, so he decided to move to the corner buildings, which has many varieties backside of that building. Normally backside of that area is never cleaned and too many bushes and other trees planted there without proper care and paying any kind of attention to it. Slowly he moved further and focuses his torch in search of flower around those bushes and trees. Suddenly he heard some noise like cats do or little baby crying. He kind of freaked out and decided not to move further. Then what he saw was scary, an image of a lady sitting above the branches at a distance of 8 to 10 meters away. He freaked out and out of anger, threw stones towards that entity, to which he saw that image jumped like a monkey to the top branches and faded away. A little girl on one side of a main road. This particular incident that I am going to narrate has happened with my maternal grandfather, Nunji, in mid-1950s, when he was around 18 to 19 years old. He was born in Anandpur city, of Maharashtra state. This is his one of many real lives experience that he once narrated to all of we grandchildrens, during our summer vacations in Nagpur. One day my grandpa and 2 to 3 of his friends of same age of 18 to 19 had been to one of their friends' farms at the outskirts of Nagpur city. The farm had a house built for the family on one side of the farm, from where other parts of the farms and main road connectivity were visible from the house. That day they all had planned to spend that night in farms. At night they all dined together, had long chats, discussions about their future plannings, careers, marriages etc., and general miscellaneous discussions, and arranged the wooden cots in a series at drawing hall itself, instead of going to sleep in separate rooms. At around 3:00 am in the morning, as per my grandpa, he woke up to drink water as he was feeling thirsty, and apart from that it was also summer night, and any group member from Nagpur might know that the heat during summer is almost intolerable, as it may go around 40 to 45 in a temperature scale. So next he drank water, and then he alone went out of the home to smoke his bidi, a type of desi cigarette. My grandpa had this unusual habit of smoking bidi at odd hours, and until his death in 2013 he sincerely followed this habit. While smoking, he walked up to the main road, and as he continued to smoke, he noticed a little girl of around 5 to 6 years old sitting on one side of a road. Since it was an early morning time and was quite dark for visibility, but from a handful of distance she was clearly visible. He found it quite unusual and went to her and asked her in a Marathi language,
"Fori, इतक्या रात्री काय करते? आई बाप कुठे तुझे? इतक्या रात्री येवधा लेहेन मुलीला जंगलात कासा काय सोडला? मरखाकुच."
In English, if translated, it means, "Hey girl, what are you doing here in the jungle at this odd time? Where's your parents? And how come they let you out alone?" To which she didn't replied. Once again, raising his voice, my grandpa asked her the same question. This time the little girl spoke and revealed something shocking about her, that I am literally shivering while writing, and was shivering back then when Grandpa narrated this experience of his. So, the girl replied him in a Marathi,
"माझा नाव माझ आई, मी आजी इथून गाडीने फिरायला छल्लो होतो आणि आमची गादीला दसराये गादीने ठोस मारली. ठोस मध्ये मी."
Thus Mata Mimele. If translated, it means, "My name is XYZ, me, my parents and my granny were passing by this road, and our car was hit by another speeding car, and in that accident I died." My grandpa didn't believe in her and took her lightly, thinking that the girl is a little child and might be joking. To satisfy his doubts, my grandpa further asked her,
"कुठे राहते? मला तुझा पाटा सांग, मी तुला नेहून सोडतोन तुझ्या आईएबीएके."
In English it means, "Where do you live, dear? Please tell me your address, I will drop you to your home." As he asked, so she, after some silence, replied that she lived in a XYZ area of a Nagpur city, and after done replying she got up from the spot where she was sitting and began walking away from my grandpa. As she began walking, my grandpa too began following her, thinking maybe the little girl wants him to take her home. After walking few distance, suddenly my grandpa's friends came running, searching for him, shouting,
"Harish, Harish, where are you going, Harish?"
Let me tell all that Harish is my grandpa's name that I forgot to mention. My grandpa got distracted by sudden shouting from his friends and turned back to reply to them that he is taking this little girl to her parents in a city. When all the friends finally reached next to him, they all asked, "Where's the girl? And which girl he is talking about?" To answer them, he turned back to show the girl, but found the girl was nowhere, as if she vanished from there. But he kept calm and searched for her nearby, but in vain. She was untraceable there. Now this time my grandpa was little shocked, but he didn't further reveal anything and excused himself by saying that he was just walking by roadside and went back home to sleep. As the night passed, he didn't really sleep but kept wondering about the little girl and where did she vanish within a blink of an eye. Next morning, he left the house without his friends, excusing himself by saying that he has some important job at home to complete. He came back to his own home, and at home also he didn't tell anything to his parents, example, my maternal great-grandparents. He sat home for a while, had breakfast, got refreshed, and then took out his bicycle and set out to search for the family and the address of the little girl had mentioned. But that day he didn't find the address. For next 2 to 3 days he searched for the address while coming back from his duty. But all went in vain. Finally, after searching the address and the girl's family for days, he found it, and finally he was standing on their home's door. There he met the parents of the little girl and inquired about her and asked whether the little girl has returned home or not. At first the family was little confused about how come this unknown young man know about his daughter. to which my grandpa narrated the whole incidents he experienced that night. Now at this moment the girl's parents finally revealed the truth to him that, indeed a few months ago they were passing by the road and suffered an accident by another speeding car and got crashed on the spot where my grandpa sighted the girl sitting on one side of the road, and in this accident the parents and granny survived while the little daughter of theirs died, leaving them heartbroken, and she was only 6.5 years old. Revealing this, the family emotionally broke down. My grandpa felt bad and pity for the little girl. He comforted them, sat there for a while with them, prayed for the peace of girl's soul. On his behalf he paid a homage to her, shared his address with the family, and assured them that he will try visiting them once in a while, as the family felt an emotional connection with him as he witnessed the sighting of their daughter's soul, and he also asked the girl's family to visit his home to meet his parents. Bidding a final adieu, he left and returned back to his normal routine life, and after that he never witnessed anything unusual, and he didn't even pay his visit to his friend's farm again after this incident. So, friends, this is it. Hope you all like it, and I heartily apologize if I went too long. Thank you.
Banyan Tree. Year 2003. Place village, population about 500, state Maharashtra. Alleged haunted place approx 1.5 km from village, between highway and main route to village. Every year, I used to visit my maternal grandparents during Diwali vacations, winter vacations. It used to be full of fun spending vacations there with aunts, cousins, uncles, grandparents, and family-like neighborhood. Almost every day during my visit at my grandparents' I used to visit nearby places, let it be someone's farm, big old temples, mountains, cowsheds, stables, etc. with at least one elder person from family or neighborhood. There was one place I only heard creepy stories about, but never visited until 2003 was the haunted banyan tree in old British colony area approx 500 meters left from main road to village. Among all neighbors, I was very fond of Asma D. D is equal to elder sister, who accompanied me and my cousins to many such small one-day trips. She was like my elder sis, very loving and kind, who used to give me candies, sweets more than my other cousins. This paranormal incident happened with me and Asma D when I was 10 years old and Asma was about 16. During that time, daily, Asma D had to give tiffin to her father and uncle working across the highway for the well constructions. So, that day me, my two cousins and Asma D, decided to have lunch at uncle's site, then spend time in nearby farm and return home by evening with all. So we packed our stuff, left home in morning by 10 am to visit Asma D's father and uncle. It was approx 3 kilometers distance from my grandpa's home to construction site. The well was being constructed in the joint farm area of two families. The farm was really big and had lot of fruit trees alongside. After lunch, we enjoyed sugarcane and played in the farm. Then I decided to visit the banyan tree without letting anybody know. When I saw elders went to continue construction work and cousins got busy playing with chickens of farm owners, I quietly slipped to highway. Within 10 minutes of rapid walk, I reached to main route heading to village. After walk of another few minutes, I finally reached to the old, empty British colony area with the infamous banyan tree. I clearly remember after reaching there I felt so weak as if something has drained all my energy. Even after drinking all water from my backpack, I did not feel better. In fact, I started feeling dizziness. I have had lot of mountaineering with 5 to 7 kilometer walk per day but never felt such dizziness before. Thinking this is due to heat and walk after lunch, I decided to sit somewhere nearby and observe the place. The place was weird as in spite of huge green banyan tree there were no birds on it. While I could see some crows, pigeons on other trees across the road which were not as green and spread like the banyan tree in front of me. The British colony further behind the banyan tree was a group of 4 to 5 spacious empty and rather burnt houses in very bad condition, without doors, but too dark in spite of broken roof and clean noontime. Since there was not enough shadow to relax, I started walking to one of the houses to sit in porch area. Suddenly I heard Asma Di calling me from behind. To my surprise, she said that she was shouting calling me lot before I started walking to old houses. She came running from highway and was in dilemma. Don't remember exactly how, but to relax her, I held her hand and we sat below banyan tree for some time. It was regular cold feeling when you sit in tree shadow in hot sunny day. All this time, I did not feel fright or any chillings but weak. However, Asma Di was so frightened looking upward in tree and she started being unconscious. At that moment I got frightened for the first time and started running to highway to call others, but being felt so weak, due to dizziness and low winds, my speed was so slow that until we all came to Asma Di it was evening around 6 p.m. and she was fully unconscious. Her uncle took her and put in bullock cart while we were coming from different cart. One thing disturbed me lot during this noise of iron skeletons of doors and windows of houses slamming continuously that I closed my ears. Later, Asma Di and me were taken to clinic as somehow I caught very high fever and Di was unconscious all the time. When Asma Di started gaining consciousness, she started screaming, crying, murmuring, laughing. One weird thing happened on same night is that somehow I woke up in middle of night only to see Asma Di standing in backyard, staring at me through door. My grandparents, and so as the other villagers, used to have small, attached homes, and hence their backyards, galleries, porches were shared until split by roads. I screamed to wake up others, and her family members took her in. I felt much better next day due to medicines and my granny's prayers. We all prayed for Asma Di too. Her family did some rituals, but to our dismay, weirdness of Asma Di continued. I remember her words were like should not have, mistake. No penalty. I was never allowed to wander by myself. My aunt told me the family moved to different district within 4 to 5 months of this incident. Asma Di was still not cured. One reason why Asma Di was so badly affected given by my aunt is that she was having her periods that time and that she stayed close to tree during sunset time. I did not find her contact on social media or anywhere. I feel guilty many times as somewhere I am responsible for her situation. I can never ever forget her face when she was looking in horror up in banyan tree and when staring at me in night. Later, my grandparents moved to other city due to my uncle's job. Uncle said village has grown but the tree and British colony area is still intact. My questions are: is it true that ladies during their period time exposed to attract other entities? What are time slots during which other entities are more powerful? Why it's usually after sunset, night times? Spare my English. Thanks for reading.
Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.